All right, let's talk about something we all interact with every single day, but probably never really think about: software testing. Yeah, it's that invisible, supercritical process that makes the difference between an app you love and one that's, a total nightmare. So let's pull back that curtain and see what's really going on.
You know you have. We all have, right? That moment an app just crashes when you're about to buy something, or a button just does nothing. That feeling of frustration? Well, that is exactly what a whole army of software testers is working around the clock to prevent. They're kind of the unsung heroes of the digital world.
So, here's what we're going to cover. First up, we'll get into the why all this testing is so important. Then, we'll dive into the how, breaking down the 4 main levels of testing and the playbook testers actually use. And we'll wrap up by looking at where things are headed with automation and what it all means for, well, quality.
Okay, so let's tackle that first big question. Why bother with all this testing in the first place? I mean, can't developers just write good code? Well, in the super complex world we live in, testing isn't just a good idea, it's absolutely essential.
Just think about it for a second. The apps on your phone have millions of lines of code. With that much complexity, mistakes or bugs aren't just possible, they're completely inevitable. So testing isn't about hoping to find bugs, it's a systematic hunt to find them and squash them before they ever get to you, the user.
So, how does this hunt for bugs actually work? Well, it's not just one single event. It's more like a journey that every feature takes through 4 distinct levels, moving from a tiny piece of code all the way to your screen.
And here they are: unit, integration, system, and acceptance testing. The easiest way to think about it is like building with Legos. First, you check each individual brick to make sure it's not broken. Then you snap a few bricks together and see if they fit right. After that, you check your whole finished castle. And finally, you ask your friend if it actually looks like a castle. Let's break down each one.
First up, we've got unit testing. This is testing at the most microscopic level. We're talking about that single Lego brick. Developers will test the smallest possible piece of code they just wrote, all by itself, to make sure it does what it's supposed to. Finding a bug here, it's the cheapest and fastest fix you can possibly make.
Next is integration testing. Okay, now we're snapping those Lego bricks together. This phase is all about checking the connections between different parts. Does the login page actually talk to the user database? Does hitting add to cart properly update the checkout system? This is where you find out if the pieces play nicely with each other.
And now for the big one, system testing. This is the full dress rehearsal. The entire app, the whole castle, is built and tested from start to finish. Testers act just like you would, clicking around, trying every feature, basically making sure the whole thing works as one cohesive product and meets all the original requirements.
And last but not least, acceptance testing. This is really the moment of truth. After all the internal checks are done, it's time to answer the most important question of all. Is this software actually ready for real customers? Does it solve the problem it was meant to solve? A yes here is the final green light to launch.
Okay, so we know the levels of testing now. But what do testers actually do? What guides them? It's definitely not just random clicking. It's a highly structured strategy, and it all starts with the tester's playbook.
Every good testing effort begins with a test plan. Think of this as the master blueprint or the game plan. It lays out the whole strategy, what's being tested, who's doing it, what the schedule looks like. It's the document that keeps everybody on the same page, all working toward the same goal.
Now, if you zoom in from that big plan, you get to the test case. This is really the heart and soul of a tester's day-to-day work. Each test case is like a detailed recipe designed to check one single specific thing. It tells the tester exactly what steps to follow and, most importantly, what the results should be.
Now this is what a really solid test case looks like. See how clear everything is? It has an ID, it points to a specific requirement, it lists preconditions, the steps are precise, and the expected result is crystal clear. This level of detail means anybody could run this test and get the same reliable result every single time.
And here's the opposite. Look at this. The steps are vague. Test login. The expected result is just works. This isn't a test, it's a guess. It's completely useless because it's not repeatable, which just goes to show you that in the world of testing, precision is literally everything.
Okay, and there's one more really important concept in the playbook: regression testing.
So imagine the developers add a cool new feature. Awesome. But what if that new code accidentally broke something else that used to work just fine? Regression testing is the safety net that prevents that. It's all about rerunning old tests to make sure the software hasn't taken a step backward.
Now, running thousands and thousands of tests, especially for regression testing, sounds exhausting, right? And it is, which brings us to the biggest change in software testing in years, the massive shift from people doing everything by hand to using smart, automated scripts.
For a long time, testing was a person, sitting at a computer, clicking through the same steps over and over. It was slow, expensive, and, people make mistakes. But automated testing completely flips that on its head. You write a script once, and a computer can run it perfectly, thousands of times, any time of day or night. It's way faster, way more reliable, and lets you test way more stuff.
And this quote right here just says it all. When it comes to regression testing, automation isn't just a nice-to-have anymore, it's a must. Trying to manually retest an entire application after every little change is so slow and so incomplete that you might as well not even be doing it. Automation is really the only way.
And of course, there's a whole world of powerful tools out there to make this automation happen. You've got options that are free, ones that are expensive, some that require coding skills, some that don't. The real takeaway here isn't which tool is the best, but that teams have to pick the right tool for their specific project, their budget, and their skills.
So, we've gone from the tiniest piece of code all the way to huge automated test systems. Let's kind of wrap this all up and talk about the big picture, the main takeaway about quality.
And this really is the core of it all. That smooth, bug-free experience you get from your favorite apps, that does not happen by accident. It is the direct result of a tough, deliberate, and multi-layered process. It's a deep commitment to quality that's built in at every single step, all powered by a smart strategy and, more, powerful automation.
So, I'll leave you with this question. The next time you launch an app and everything just works, it's fast, it's reliable, it does exactly what you want, just take a half a second to think about that invisible journey we just talked about. Think about the unit tests, the integration checks, the system-wide rehearsals, and all those automated scripts that had to run perfectly just to deliver that flawless experience right to your screen.